See if this works.
My favorite part is neither of us know which one is fading.
I know.
Guess we'll have people say it. All right, Facebook post time.
Yeah. Okay, redirecting to YouTube. We should be golden. Except it didn't take my
See if this works. My favorite part
Ah!
is neither of us know which one is fading. The echoes with us.
Yeah,
No.
that goes. I'm gonna
Guess
shut
we'll
it
have
off
people say
now.
it. All right, Facebook post time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like usual,
Okay, redirecting to
I'll sit here
YouTube.
and
It
give it
should
a couple
be
minutes. Okay, I'm gonna close the YouTube so I don't get the echo.
all right, and I just updated personal and space weather trackers.
And I put a little comment. I'm like, we're going live soon. Eventually I'll get figure something out here.
We were much better prepared this time. I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people.
think so too.
What is your shirt, by the way?
Oh, the Kiwana Dark Sky Park.
Oh, that's cool. And it's got a
Yeah,
color background for it.
I know, I like it. I had to buy it when I was up there in April.
I'm
So
still hoping my mom wants to go up there. That'd be sweet.
yeah, I know.
I
What
forgot
is
there's a dark sky park there.
yeah, it's pretty much where the lodge is. Like that their whole little property area is the Dark Sky Park. Which is cool because you can go there anytime and like stargaze and they have like trails set up so it's easy, easy access
Easy
to
and
get.
safe.
Yeah, it's a good setup. I'm glad they got that designation because I was hoping they would, years ago because the first time I went up there, I'm like, man, it's really dark up here. I'm like, I'm like they should get a dark sky designation. And
And boom.
so shout out to them.
Also, looks like we get some hurricane weather,
Oh yeah?
but rain mostly.
Yeah,
But the
rain,
point
but
is, it'll drop temperature a bit.
yeah, because it's gonna kind of hook up like they usually does, or like hits the coast and hooks up.
Yep, it'll go
So,
straight through Ohio, it looks like at least. I'm assuming you guys will get at least like edges of it. But
yeah,
the end of
probably.
this week.
Nice, nice. I know it's been raining an awful lot in the upper Midwest, like
Yeah.
Minnesota and Wisconsin, and I mean it's been on and off up here. Like I've only had a couple clear nights up here, to be honest.
We've had very little here. It's been that high pressure system sitting perfectly, just I think mostly north of us, and it's very little cloud cover, pop-up storms sometimes during the day, but it's mostly been clear and hot for a couple weeks now.
Sweet. All right, so shall we get started? Well, now
Three
it's
o'clock.
3 o'clock, so hopefully, we'll see. I know Tanya said she wanted to join. Or she said, like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, I'm glad somebody does.
No, there's more than just her. She's definitely
Yeah,
the most vocal about it. That's for
yeah,
sure.
she is. Yeah, she is. So we'll see if anybody shows up. But if not, they can watch it later because I tried to be more careful about it this time and not have things
Things
up in
out,
the background that shouldn't be there.
things that haven't been released yet that can't be seen.
Yeah. Whoopsies. My bad. Let's see. What do you want to start with? The
If you
what's
want to
going on.
start with any updates for current activity, even though it's very little,
Okay. I will start there. We'll go to my screen and hopefully I can I hate when it has the controls up there like over the top of the bars.
yeah, even though
Yeah.
you can't see it in the screen, you also can't do anything about it.
Right. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. So I brought up 211 here because it shows coronal holes really well. And we'll play this because it's kind of funny how this because I was like, oh, that's a pretty good coronal hole, but then watch it as it closes up when it starts to get into our view.
It looks like there might be an
Oh,
active region forming,
yeah,
actually.
yep,
Wow,
right.
yeah, it cuts it right in half.
Yeah, right in half. And then I'll show you
What,
the synoptic map because it has this one and this one, not this one so much. That sounds like
what's
that
going on
Tommy song.
south? Look at all the movement there. It looks like
Yeah,
post wow, I can't even talk anymore. Post eruption arcades.
yeah. I like 211. I like this wavelength 211. It shows it's kind of fluffy. It's got that fluffy, but it shows the coronal holes really well. So we'll go to the synoptic maps. So speaking of words I can't say. So they have the
Yeah,
they
there's
have
one
this one
there.
here. They don't have the polarity in it, which is interesting. Um, and then this one up here that they have labeled positive. So yeah, like the one below here, I don't see it. Looks like it got cut off, but that's it looks like the active region here that cut
It
it off.
is negative.
Okay.
Not from that. I just checked a different source, but
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I was like, I don't where is that? So we have coronal holes, but I don't know how effective they're truly gonna be. Maybe enough to bump it a little bit above what this background level that we've been stuck at for days and days and days.
so
But
what that really means in translation is it's going to hit as soon as it gets morning here and then disappear as soon as it's night.
yeah, yeah, that's just
Okay.
gonna be the what now I'm losing my words, the magnetospheric convection.
Oh yeah,
Steady
SMCs,
magnetospheric-
steady
SMC.
magnetospheric
Steady,
convection. That's
steady
such a fun word
magnetospheric
to say.
convection. Yeah. Yeah, I keep trying to tell myself that over and over and I can't like remember it. I know I'm like SMC, steady magnetospheric convection pattern, which is a whole lot of no fun when you're chasing because it's just a whole
Not
lot
for
of
somebody
nothing.
that wants dynamic aurora.
Yeah, it just doesn't give it to you. Um, but if you're out there, we could talk about the camera stuff. You're out there, the camera, it'll show up. But really, that's all we have going on is these two. There's a couple active regions, but none of them seem to be really, I don't know, like to get excited about. I think we're sitting right above the seafloor with flux. If I remember correctly, we can go look at it. Come on, go away, bar. Go
Yeah,
away,
it's
bar.
been fairly consistently C2,
Yeah.
C3,
So let's
minor
go.
flares here and there.
So let's because usually they have it right on their front page of the Space Weather Prediction Center. Yeah, like right about the sea. So yeah, not
Lowest it's been in a while.
yeah, I know. Yeah, after all we had because a lot it was sitting at like M for a long time. That's when things were like really, really exciting, but now it's
I mean,
kind
we
of
went
back
most of
to
May with,
yeah,
yeah, I want to say above the M class and pretty close to the 180 plus solar flux unit, solar flux ratings,
yeah, so now
which
we're back to seafloor again. But I guess it's
boring.
okay because like what do we have? 3 hours of nighttime to deal with? So
I mean, we're at least going back into night now, but summer is just starting. And of
yeah.
course, where you have less night, you also have bugs.
Yeah, oh my God, the mosquitoes were off the chain yesterday. And they were biting through my jeans. I used bug spray, but they don't seem to care up here.
They're basically like what happens to viruses or bacteria
Yeah,
after too much antibiotics. They just become immune to everything, and now they're super mosquitoes.
yeah. But yeah, even here, like there's not even really any big filaments either. It's just kind of like I mean, there's like some, but I don't know. There's just nothing really exciting, at least in the like in our little strike zone that we have.
I
Um,
guess we had to go through a weaker period eventually. Oh yeah, there's a fairly big one connecting,
it's like on in the south.
yeah, the southeast limb.
Yeah, like over
Like it's
here where like
connecting
curves through.
3736,
Uh-huh. But like if that goes, it's probably gonna go boop south. Like we won't see it.
or it'll just hold on until it gets to the west limb, whichever comes
Yeah, and
first.
then it'll let go.
We are such optimists in this.
I know, I know. It's funny because people are like, "Oh, you get all excited about it." Like, yeah, it's just gonna go south or to the side. Like, we won't see any of it. It's fine.
I
It's
will
all good.
say that pessimistic slash realistic, I guess, attitude we have on everything generally pays off way more than it lets down. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
I
worst case
mean, late,
scenario, you're wrong, and oh, cool, we did have something.
especially lately.
But
I
best
guess
case, we're usually right.
maybe we can run the corona graph and see. But yeah, look at there's like
Nothing,
really
not even
nothing.
backside.
That's insane. It's like the sun was so crazy for a little bit, and then
There
now
was so one.
we're in this lull.
What was that
Yeah,
one just before it starts?
yeah, that just that one,
The
and that's weird.
northwest.
Usually we'll see like at least I don't know 4 or 5 of them,
Hmm.
not more.
Yeah, might be going through a quiet period.
Yeah, I mean it's good for the people that work at Swipsy. I guess they needed a break.
Yeah, we don't need any more updates from them going, this region flared again.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
see the eye rolling in the text, which is really pretty good for them.
right. Yeah,
That is
so yeah,
pretty
it's
sarcastic.
quiet. It is quiet. So I guess we can. go on. We can go on our rants now. So I'll stop sharing this and see if you have anything to bring
Actually,
up.
yeah, we'll save the rants for the end. I got a few more things I'll go into now.
Bring it up. Let's go. Let's go chit chat.
First off, let's check out the solar cycle and where we're at there. I feel like doing these once a month is probably a good idea to
Yeah, because we're kind of
refresh
at
things.
that. Because I know we're supposed to be at solar max, but you know how it's a range of time. So
Well, with that, I'd say we're pretty close to being there. Is
yeah,
my sharing?
not yet. Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
there we go.
There you
If I want
go.
to double click, that would help. Okay, so June numbers came out. Monthly numbers for June, Sunspot was 164.2, which is still, I want to say, the highest that we have thus far for this
Okay.
cycle.
Yeah.
And as far as period, we haven't had a spot value that high, well, at all in cycle 24,
Cycle 24 was just sad.
which no surprise there.
Yeah.
Let's see. When's the last time we got this in cycle 23? Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
47. So October to that. So before the 2003 storms.
Okay.
So that says quite a lot. Looking back at the polar fields, we are about a year out from when the average crossed over to zero. So it looks like this plot's been updated,
Mm.
I believe, since July of this year, or sorry, June of this year. Let's just keep zooming in.
Yeah.
Black line is the average. That's all I'm really going to focus on right now. We have a zero crossing right about there. Going back to the actual numbers, it was about July of 2023.
Okay.
Let's see, that's 2020. Let's zoom out a bit more.
Yeah, that might be
Yeah,
easier to
right
find.
about here. So July, late July, early August was at least the polar fields averaging to zero.
Okay.
So generally that means we should see usually the sunspot counts follow anywhere between 6 to 12 months after that. We're about a year after that. I'd say we're probably seeing, just based on educational estimates, we'll say, um,
Yeah.
the peak as of now. And I don't want to say this is the peak. It might be another month or two with what we're
Mhm.
seeing, but based on the lull that's coming, I'm guessing it's going to start decreasing.
Yeah, because
We
that's
did have a
usually
first peak already. I think I mentioned that last time.
yeah.
That hit in June of last year as well, ironically,
Yeah, that is funny.
of 164. Oh, might have accidentally opened up a different program. I did. So
Whoops.
June of 164.2 sunspot number. That was the June sunspot number average for last month. And then the smooth number, and that's the numbers that are being averaged further to get rid of these bumps over a
Yeah.
longer period of time. But you need more time to do that. I believe it's 9 months, but I don't quite remember. As of December, at least.
Yeah.
Yep, I did open up something. As of December of 2023, we had a peak of 129.4,
Okay.
which that was the first peak. So then we had a slight, and I do mean slight. Like, can I zoom in enough on this?
Yeah, because that doesn't look. Yeah, look at that.
Ooh, hard to dig into that number. There we go. So the smooth line being the purple, it peaked about June, slowly started decreasing, and then immediately began increasing again. And we are currently, as of 129 for December, that number is definitely going to go up. I mean, I think it can hit 135, 136.
Hmm.
I don't think, did it go above 100 for cycle 24?
The sad cycle.
Yeah, it's cycle, or the second bump was about 115. So we're already well over that, even for the smooth average. So we're seeing peak activity levels right now with sunspots, at least, and the solar flux also peaked at last month. What did it get up to? Like 200 something?
Yeah, it was. I did think it crested 200. I remember that.
Several days of it, at least. The average for the month of May was 188.
Yeah,
And
like
then, but last month was only 185. Not much of a decrease
okay.
from that.
Because
And
like
I'd like to
it
see
was mostly thanks to those that our favorite sunspot region.
3664, and it's many, many, many alterated numbers
Yeah,
that I'll be honest, I don't even remember at this point anymore.
yeah. I know, I don't either. I just remember the 3664 because that was the first one.
I do like this showing how it's the smooth numbers are a little better looking here. That looks more like just a small wave, but still increasing. So it doesn't look like there's been a peak in the flux or the solar flux yet.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I
Yeah,
guess,
that's at least solar cycle updates.
yeah, fun time. So, but yeah, declining phase. So we're
Coming up at
declining phase.
least. If we're
Yeah,
not in it, it's about to be.
tends to be historically sometimes more exciting. But I mean, we had some good stuff with this with the May thing. But everybody's chomping at the bit for more.
Then you got to say, I mean, it's a long period of time. How much of that is just coincidental
Yeah, I mean
that we happen to get the high storms at the end?
yeah, and it's got to be, so much has got to line up. Like it just worked out, like how that spot formed, and it was angry, and we just happened to be in that line of fire. It just and then the weather cooperated. So yeah, it's just a lot of things that's got to line up for stuff like that.
I will say for 2003, at least when that started showing up, that decline, it wasn't just the one spot that showed up either. It was multiple big groups
Yeah,
all of a sudden. So that was definitely a global phenomenon. So
yeah,
that is definitely real. Um, let's see. I can't recall maybe 2014 or 2017, the really bad sunspots that Tamitha covered as well
yeah,
during the hurricane seasons. I don't know if there were any other comparable sunspots on the sun at that point in time.
yeah.
So
Because
I don't
that
know
thing
if that was coincidental or not.
right. Yes, that was an angry one too.
Yeah, super angry. Radio blackouts constantly. I mean, it was no 3664, but it's pretty
Yeah,
close to there.
pretty close. So, well,
All right.
yeah, that's our updates. So,
Yep. So
so
that's solar at least.
basically a whole lot of not much to expect in the week ahead. Maybe some coronal hole influence, but I mean, there's not even like a sharp edge on those really to give you that bump, that hard bump that
I'm
tends to,
assuming we'll see gradual.
yeah, it tends to give you that nice shock. Um, so yeah, we'll see, but nothing to get too excited about. There's
Speaking of not too excited about,
our pessimistic attitude. I know.
and we're not even done yet
Yeah,
because it's
like
rant time.
yeah, let's get this going.
I'll let you take the first one, the camera stuff.
Oh yeah, so the debate this week has been, does it count if you see Aurora on camera or not? And some of us are in the camp that it doesn't, some are. And the reasons for that is because it's not super exciting. Like for me personally, like on camera, like I got it on camera this week. Am I ever going to post those or do anything with them? No, I'm not. Like, because it's a glow on the horizon that's always kind of there. Especially in this, actually we could bring that, Brian had that awesome map with the
I'm
geomagnetic.
bringing it up now.
Yeah, especially in the upper Great Lakes where your geomagnetic latitude is more north than other spots, like it's just kind of almost ambient background noise, like especially around magnetic midnight. And if you got a camera out there every day, like if it was clear every day in the Great Lakes region, I would almost guarantee that somebody somewhere, if you had a camera set up, will catch something because the sensitivity is just so much stronger with these cameras. So because of that, our perception of what's visible has drastically changed. And but the experience isn't the same. Like, seeing that glow is like, okay, well, that's kind of neat. And I guess if you see it for the first time, it's cool. But after, I don't know, not even half dozen,
Hundreds.
probably like, yeah, hundreds of times of seeing it, you're like, well, I would love to see something more. And that's when you start to get a little more picky, especially when you get older and you value your sleep more too. Like, being a Milky Way chaser, I love the night sky and I love seeing the stuff, but at the same time, I'm
It's
getting
so
old.
hard.
Yeah, I'm getting old and things are falling apart. So you start to really prioritize, like you were like before we got on here talking, like seeing or transparency or partly cloud, like if you're trying to target something and you have this little bit of thing that might screw it up, like is it worth it? Maybe wait another day.
What kind of weather do you have? What kind of tolerance do you
Yeah,
have? How much sleep have you gotten to begin with? That's why I love February generally and
yeah,
August for Milky Way season. February,
Yeah,
you can wake up, 3 a.m. You've only got maybe an hour, but at least it's the morning and then you can
yeah,
go into sunrise, which
yeah. You're
blue
not
hour
like,
Milky Way shots are pretty cool.
yes,
I love,
I
I
actually
love
do
that.
like I really like Blue Hour Milky Way. It, everybody loves like you all the detail that you get when it's truly dark out. And sure that I mean like I still love that, but like there's
Blue
just something about
skies with the Milky Way.
yeah, having that little bit of twilight color in it, like it I mean I like blue and purple to begin with, so that kind of just plays
Same.
into the yeah, so the twilight Milky Ways are really nice. But yeah, but going back to the geomagnetic latitude, if you see this map here, you can see where the Great Lakes region is. It's
Way
we're
below latitude,
we're in a
magnetic
really
latitude.
good spot, like just in terms of seeing things on camera. Like it's just you'll catch very, very minor activity, especially around that magnetic midnight. So
Let's just emphasize this too. Michigan in general is not under the Aurora Oval.
yeah, it is not under the Aurora Oval. We came across a couple tweets last week sometime saying that Michigan's under the oval. It is not. It's not even close to being under the oval. It
Magnetically
has
or geographically.
yeah, it has a favorable position because of how you know the magnetic field works. Like you can see how it bends there, but it is nowhere near being under the oval. So
Yeah.
it was May 10th, but that's once every 20 years.
And we're talking even like the southern edge of Michigan. I mean, it was Lake Erie. It looked like it was almost overhead at Lake Erie
Yeah,
for
but
most of the night.
so for those who might have seen that tweet, yeah, it's that is so far from the truth. Like it's not even funny. Like, it's not Fairbanks, Alaska, sorry. It never will be. Or Churchill.
You're still gonna have to travel to get good aurora. You can't just wish it into being.
Yeah,
But then
but
that asks the question, who do you forecast for? The
who do we
photographers
forecast
of the
for?
faint bands or the visualized people?
Yeah. So the forecasting that we're doing is kind of it's more for visual. Like it's like we were saying, the camera visibility, especially in these upper Great Lakes region, it's just you can catch it on what basically when there's no data. I mean, as long as you follow like the magnetometers and look for bumps here and there, which is substorm onsets, which we could get into. It's just your camera just sees so much. It just does. Um, so we like to try to forecast for more of the visual aurora, where it's more something more memorable than a faint white glow on the horizon that you may or may not even see.
Yep.
So when we say there's not much going on this week, that's we're basically saying for people that want to like a more visual experience.
If you want
Now,
discrete arcs that you can see,
yeah, or even pillars,
not very
which
likely.
yeah, it's like and up in the upper Midwest and Michigan, Minnesota, even like, as much as we hate bringing up the KP level, but it is a thing. Like the KP4 level type stuff where you're just getting a little bit of bump that's right under geomagnetic storm. Um, it's pretty visible up here. Like you could pick out pillars and things like that pretty easily. Um, but yeah, like lately we just haven't had that, and you have to really chase the substorms to catch it. And even then, like I caught a couple pillars when I was at that lighthouse, but I didn't see them. I couldn't see them. The camera did though.
And this is a perfect segue into part two,
Yes.
where you see them and the cameras are so good at seeing them. But then you have people saying, hey guys, Aurora was out last night. I got some photos of it. Data suggested that there was no Aurora, so data's wrong. And there's at least two or three comments slash tweets that I've seen regarding the data. Or let's say, no, you didn't see Aurora because the data says you didn't. And if you have a
Yeah.
picture of an Aurora, what is clearly an Aurora band or an arc, you're wrong. The data doesn't determine what you see. What you see determines how to interpret the data. So if you're
Mhm.
trying to learn more about the aurora and the data, which you should, and I'll be honest, I think there is a step in between beginner and really starting to know the data from the solar wind, where people just assume they have the knowledge there then and can look at it and go no or yes before realizing crap, it's not actually as cut and dry as this. I do want to say I'm pretty sure I went through a period of that in 2013, roughly when I
Mhm.
first started, thinking, nah, data's not going to suggest anything. the aurora is way too complicated at this point to even begin to think that you can forecast it with only L1 solar wind data. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on just daily in the ionosphere that is, it gets influenced by even just daily activity. And that's the part that it gets really like this gray area that really needs, more studying. Like I think there is kind of a little bit of disconnect right now, even with the SWPC stuff, because it's so like, hey, this is what we have data wise, but nothing really describing the ionospheric magnetospheric phenomena, which sometimes doesn't tie exactly to the data. Like, because it does it sometimes it act, it has characteristics that's kind of more nuanced, I think is the word I'm trying to find. And the more you like, you go out and see this stuff and then look at data, you start to realize, hey, there's something else going on here that's not quite black and white.
My knowledge is not as good as I thought it was in predicting and when it's there and not there.
Yeah,
And of course, it's not a one event moment either. You have to look at what has been any previous disturbances. Is the magnetosphere recovering from something? Has it been quiet for a long time? Are there other effects that could then be allowing something to happen a lot easier than it would have without an event beforehand? Like, let's say, the G4 storm that we just
yeah.
had.
Hmm.
Lots of confusion on that one because everyone's like, that, there's no way the solar wind wasn't that high and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't even that long, but it was also just in a recovery mode from the last several different substorms and storms that we had.
Yeah,
So it
for
makes sense
quite
it would
some
be easy.
time.
Yeah. So of course
And
it's
it,
going to be
yeah,
reactive.
and it takes that because it's got to like wind down from it. So so you have this continual kind of processes going on, even when it's the main bulk of it is done. It's pretty fascinating, and I'm not even gonna attempt to say that I know even a smidge like about it all. I mean, because like you can get a PhD in every little segment of the ionosphere or magnetosphere, like every little tiny thing you can get a PhD in. So it's a lot. And I think that's what we have to work together as a community is figure out how to bridge this gap of, you know, trying to understand and interpret what's going on with the ionosphere and magnetosphere and what's going on with, the solar wind data and that kind of stuff, and trying to figure out the best way forward, because we're just going to keep getting this confusion. So, yeah. And I think either Christian froze up or I did.
Where are the similarities there?
There we go. Okay, I think we're back. So I don't know if that got through or not,
It
but
says my connection is unstable, so I'm guessing it's mine, though I'm not sure why my internet's
okay.
cutting out. But I was at least able to see most of that. Okay, so I think
Okay,
I'm
good.
back.
Yeah, we just have to like kind
Yeah,
of
it's you
figure out
got
how to close that
nothing.
gap.
You use what people see. If someone shows a photo of the aurora and you're thinking, nah, the aurora couldn't have been out that time, the data suggests that you're wrong. So figure out why you're wrong and where the misinterpretation is, whether it's with your own knowledge or whether it's with simply our understanding of the aurora, which let's be honest, it's at this point, there are no experts, I think, that are willing to say, hey, we know exactly from L1 to Aurora how this process works and how to predict it. So, no,
Yeah.
we know very little, as you mentioned. So, the idea is we admit that we don't know that. And the Aurora being out itself is then the indicator to look at the data to figure out,
Yeah.
well, what's going on in the magnetosphere that would cause the Aurora to show up now.
Yeah.
So, data will never determine Aurora. The Aurora will determine how the data is interpreted. That's the
Yeah.
catchphrase I'm leaving with.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of fun in one respect because, it is a young field and there's a lot, being done, and there's a lot of new studying being done, and they've embraced a lot of the citizen scientists to help, with like bringing in photos and video and of things that are happening that they don't have funding to do, to help NASA and SWPC and all them try to understand what's going on better, since we don't have a lot of things, looking at stuff all the time. And so it makes that exciting, but then it makes it frustrating because we don't have it and we don't have a true understanding of what's going on. So it's like a catch 22.
And that's why there's such a divide then between the people that think we have it all figured out and can predict it on a whim, just looking at
Yeah,
data, and then the people that are actually knowledgeable in what they're doing and going, I don't know,
yeah. It's like,
a lot
well,
of power in admitting you don't know something.
and then we circle back to the camera visibility thing because a lot of people I found like, that have been studying aurora for years have, like people will post a picture from, I don't know, like Kansas or something, and you see a glow on the horizon that was like, how is that possible? Like it's like it's really opening up our what we thought was the true view line. It's different now because our
Especially when
because
you
our
throw in subauroral processes,
yeah,
then you get, how
yep,
much further south can that go?
yeah, how can it go? And like and we have much more, and everybody has a camera now. Like even the cell phones pick this stuff up. So we have all this cool tech with us now that can detect these things. So it's exciting. It's it's cool to be a part of. But yeah, it's just you have to be careful when on the on the internet when you come across somebody, it's like, hey, like we were saying, like this is Aurora. No, it's not. The data says this and that. It's like, it's not as black and white as
No.
it seems to be. So yeah, that's our little rant.
And I will say, of course, everything's subjective, whether or not you think it's worth it to go out for a little glow and take pictures of it, or whether you say, ah, it's boring, that's stupid, I don't want to know. Everyone's going to be different depending on their experience levels. And maybe there are going to be some people that have seen Aurora hundreds of times and still want to see every tiny bit. And there are going to be people that have only seen Aurora a few times and only want to see the big shows and everywhere in
Yeah,
between. So, like, not to say we're trying to say for everybody who can see and what is what, but the idea is the view lines are getting further. It's becoming more common. And for some of us, it's just not as impressive.
yeah. It's like we were talking in the chat for those that may know the uh the infamous famous landscape photographer Mark Adamus, who's really picky about stuff. And so if I have me and my friend Rachel as a catchphrase, would Mark Adamus shoot this? If the answer is no,
No,
we just
don't
go to
go
bed.
out. I mean, that's a good way to set your limits.
Yeah, because if this isn't, worth like like a really cool scene or whatever, it's like, yeah, you know what? There's gonna be tomorrow or the next day. It's like I might as well catch up on some sleep.
And if you're
But
at
that
that
doesn't mean not to
latitude,
go do it because like if you're into the, catching the every little bit of it, then more power to you. But I'm starting to value my sleep in my old age.
not only more valuable, but then the more opportunities you get to shoot the aurora, generally that starts wearing off. So the lower shows, why would you want to get as much?
Yeah,
I mean, like, this all could be wrong. The Ohio show was great in May, but it was also not the best one I've seen by
yeah,
anywhere close to
right. Yeah,
possible. It was probably top three, but number three, I think, actually.
yeah. That the my for me still the best show was it was March 23rd last year.
So you mean the 2 or 3 days after I left Alaska, that
Yes,
show, that
yeah, that
specific
one, that
one?
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that specific one.
still
But
salty.
yeah, I know that was just bad timing. I mean, I was almost out. Like I basically got on a plane during it. So
Oh,
it
that's
almost,
right.
yeah,
But those plane shots turned out pretty well.
yeah. So that actually was more colorful to me than this May one. But then again, May I was having a lot of issues with the pain and stuff. So like maybe it was better than I thought it was because I was dealing with other things. But
I think in general, brightness wise, no, the brightness
yeah,
was absolutely much higher when it was the first 3 or 4 hours. So like what Europe
okay,
got, the Swiss Alps, all of that, they had literally just glowing snow on the mountaintops. I don't
that's
think I saw anything close to that in the States, and I don't think that's because of a difference in light pollution or time frame. I think it legitimately just calmed down in brightness. It still had the
yeah.
equator ward extent, but it just wasn't as powerful.
Yeah, which could make sense because it hit them like it hit at that time for it was dark time for them. So
I
yeah,
think it makes sense. Just because it's equator ward doesn't mean it's necessarily bright and vice versa.
yeah. Again, again, it's more of these nuances that we need to study further.
Maybe in a
But
hundred
yeah, that's
years.
I don't know that's pretty much our rant of the day. You got anything else you wanted to
That's
add?
everything I got. Those
Okay,
two rants were the most important ones for me.
perfect. Well, hopefully that clarifies some of the like forecasting that we want to try to do. It's more for the anything that's a little bit bigger than background level, just because it's more exciting. It just is. But yeah, so
It gets
I'll
tedious trying to forecast for that.
It's
just
yeah,
a
it's heating
glow.
trying to forecast low level everyday substorm activity because it's just you really just have to really monitor the magnetometers and look for those little blips. Because they have I mean they do happen every day. Because it's like Earth's exhaust system, really. If you think about it that way, it's like the solar winds coming in, it's like eroding flux, putting flux back in, and it's exhausting it. So it's a daily occurrence. So if you want to sit there and monitor the magnetometers, I know Tanya does all the time.
I literally just messaged her too.
Yeah, like
Like,
more power to you.
I feel sorry for you. I mean, that's
It's cool
rough.
though. I mean, it's cool to be able to like tie that stuff together. But yeah, it gets a little tedious after a while. You know, like I mean, even she says it's like I'm getting bored of this boring data.
I mean, she's even putting in her updates. You can hear the tone. SMC Aurora, Canadian
Yeah,
border
yeah, Canadian border.
again.
Sorry about your luck. All right. Well, at that, I guess we can leave it at that for the week.
I'm
Um,
good.
so we'll do same bat time, same bat channel next week, barring anything crazy happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a
Maybe,
plan.
maybe we'll have something to talk about by then, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as the sun turns.
Maybe we could even have a guest on.
Yeah, we can have a guest. Yeah, maybe we'll
That
have
could be a
Jack.
fun way to go.
Yeah, because I we could three-way. We can have many people on here.
Hmm. Could be a fun one.
Yeah, the beauty of Zoom. All right. Well, we'll leave you all at that. So have a lovely day. And if you like this, I should do my YouTube thing. Like and subscribe.
Ugh, you're right. Don't get me wrong, but
All right, I will stop.